In this video, I've got 3 exercises you can use to improve your hip drive when running and put more power into your stride. Let's get started. So we often talk about the importance of training our glutes and our hamstrings, those big extensor muscles, to allow us to drive off harder as we're running. But so often we neglect our hip flexors. So I want to start off with an exercise which really targets the deeper one of those hip flexor muscles, our psoas muscles. So we're going to start out just with the band around our feet. From here, focusing on standing nice and tall, nice and upright. We're going to bring one foot up to a position where the knee is above the hip, and you can use your hands to actually pull your knee up into that position if you like. Of course, the band is trying to pull you down, and you're going to hold this position for 10 seconds, really focusing on drawing your belly button in and squeezing through those hip flexors to hold your knee nice and high. Don't allow the knee to start to drop down. We really want to get that knee up as high as we can and force ourselves to hold that position isometrically. 10 seconds on one side, 10 seconds on the other. And again, set yourself up in the right position first before you start counting down that 10 seconds. Now, you're going to do that 10 times over. So that's 5 on the left, 5 on the right. It's not just an exercise for your hip flexors. Of course, in this position where we're trying to get up nice and high into high hip flexion here and hold, the standing leg is going to have to work pretty hard. So you're going to be working hard through your glutes on that standing leg as well. So if we're not working hard through our glutes, what we'll see in this position is that we'll start to sag. We'll start to flex sideways. Now, squeeze your butt, hold your hips nice and high, and allow yourself that strong base from which you can then pull the knee up into high hip flexion. So 10 times, 10-second holds with that exercise is a great place to aim. Now, we've also got an exercise which we can use the medicine ball for, which the step allows us to work through a bit of a greater range of motion. Now, if we start out, ball just in front of you here, 1 foot on the step. From here, we're going to bring the knee up to, again, the similar kind of degree of hip flexion. So high knee carriage. You're going to focus on driving the foot down onto the step as you drive the other knee up into hip flexion. Now, as you're driving that other knee up, you're going to be focusing on squeezing your glutes on the standing leg to push yourself nice and high to the top of the movement. So from here, we start, and it's drive, down, knee up, drive, down, knee up, drive. Control your way down, but really fire the knee up in that top position. We're going to do 10 on this leg, and then once we've done 10, we swap over. Then I'm going to show you from front on, but obviously we'll be on this leg. So from here, knee up and drive through. Knee up and drive through. Now this really starts to, there we go, this really starts to tap into the cross extensor reflex. Now I mentioned that in a previous video, which I'll link to down in the description, but think of it as the way in which the two legs work together as we're running. As we're driving forwards with one side, naturally, as we're hip flexing here, the quality of that hip flexion will affect the quality of the hip extension on the other side. So if we're running around with a low knee carriage, we're going to get a pretty poor degree of hip extension on this side. Of course, when we're running fast, it's important that we do find that stride length by picking the knee up further and driving better out behind us from the hip. But when we're running slow, we don't need you running super high in terms of the carriage of the knee and the amount of hip flexion. But what's important is that you're not lazy and running with too low of a carriage for the given pace. So that exercise starts to cue in the timing of extending one side while we flex the other. But this exercise also does a very good job of taking that onto another level. Now, this could be with a partner holding a band, holding you back using a resistance band, or you can anchor the band, as I am here. The band needs to go around the front of your pelvis, so the bony points of the ground in front of the hips are 2 good landmarks that you can just position the band on, and then from there, step forwards. You should be able to lean into the band with no problem at all. From there, what I want you to do is think about pulling the foot up underneath you as you allow the knee to drive forwards as you run in place. So it's going to be here, leaning forwards into the band, picking the foot up, picking the foot up, picking the foot up. Should feel in this position, if we were to pause and freeze frame, should feel knee comes through, foot comes up, rather than having a low carriage of the foot, low carriage of the knee. Okay, now, again, let's go again. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Leaning into the band. You should feel the band is pulling you back, which allows you to be able to push with that standing leg or that landing leg, push down and back, just as if you're running over ground. Again, one more time. Push, 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 lift, lift, lift. 10 seconds. Feeling that gentle forward lean. Now, 10 times 10 seconds is a good place to focus with that. What you can do as well is check out the video right over here, which explains why the cross-extensor reflex is so important and how we can tap into that to get you to run faster. Check that out, and I'll see you in that video.